Hello, my name is Johnson Curry, and today we're going to be speaking about our salvation journey, the early beginnings.
Hi guys, my name is Keith.
Hey everyone, my name is Matthew.
So I think personally, I got born again the year 2020. Exact date was April 17th. And I got born again after a friend had sent a video of someone had gone to visit hell. I don't know what happened, and so I got born again because of fear.
That's one way to, you were shocked into it by fear.
Yeah.
I, for one, have grown up in a Christian home. My dad's a pastor, my mom's a pastor, so I can't really pinpoint the time when I was like, okay, I've given my life to Christ. But like all the while growing up, I got to know Christ. But the time when I think I really took it seriously was after beginning of 2023. Like I'd known about, like I'd been in a life, so I knew what it was. But actively being like, let me put everything aside and fully focus on it and buckle down. That was early 2023.
So for me, what happened was, it was almost the same time as Johnson. It was the same friend who sent him the video that spoke to me, but mine wasn't a video. He talked to me personally, and it was a call. So he called me at night, and he called me. I wanted to talk about the stories we used to talk about, the usual young people stories, and he was hesitant. He didn't want to speak. At the end of the call, he told me, God is real, he's alive. I was wondering, why is he telling me this? But he was explaining it, and as he was talking, there was a conviction in my heart, and the conviction was so heavy that I just surrendered my life. So that's how it happened. It was 2020, April 30th.
Yeah. I'm convicted at the fact that you guys remember the date. Like, I can't remember the date for me, but the fact that you guys, it was this date, it was at this time, how you guys able to pick that up, that it is a testament to the decision you guys have made.
I think for me, believe it's all of us. That was my second time getting born again. First time I remember, I think it was August 2017. It was after watching a cinema. It's usually aired by CITAM, Hell's Fire, Heaven's Gate. So I think at the end I got born again. But again I went to high school and everything just happened. So I think the reason as to why mine is the date stuck in my head is because we were at the brink of destruction. Like we were right at the cliff. And so if had we not gotten born again, then I think now would be very, very far. Very far.
I mean, that goes on to show how there's a certain level of maturity that comes with knowing Christ. It is not something you just enter and you be like, oh, it's daisies and all. Yes, you can start off like that, but when you get to a point of okay, it's something I have to really take seriously, then there now we get to even have what they call spiritual birthdays. So for you it was, I think, April 17th.
April 17th.
So every April 17th, it becomes a normal. It's not a normal day for you. It's a very big day for you. Yeah.
It's actually my friend is the one who reminds us, because I still have the video in the group up to date, and I think I was even watching it yesterday, and I still couldn't watch it at night alone because of how scary it was.
But that shows you what it is to have life away from God.
Yes, that's true.
And I think what we can talk about next is life after salvation, because we've already talked about how we got saved and what happened. So now we can talk about how life has been after that, and especially since we are young, there are many challenges, many temptations. So I think we can talk about that.
So for me, maybe what I can say, the first challenge, the first mistake I did was to allow fear to make me get born again, because it delayed my growth. Up to date, I can find myself repenting over 20 times maybe because of the fear. So I think I didn't get to experience the love of God early. This is the time I'm getting to experience His love. But initially, I was directed by fear. Maybe that's a point that I would encourage everyone who wants to get born again. Try ask God to show you His love, and not the part of Him being a judge or being harsh. Because before everything, He's love. And so when it comes to maybe the challenges, think one thing I struggled with was music.
Mm.
I didn't know the effect of music until maybe early last year.
Mm.
Music, I used to listen to music. There was one time I wanted to go to a concert,
Mm.
and I had everything figured out, but I don't know how everything stopped. So I think the greatest aspect for me was music.
Mm-hmm.
Music was the greatest struggle, but now I thank God I've outgrown it.
And we do thank God. That is truly a testimony. I for one, it was music. I remember I even had a playlist. It was called Vibes on Spotify. 26 hours long of Afrobeat from because like Afrobeat is my thing. I'm a piano, so it was from beginning to the end, 26 hours long of just that. But then when I got into like that state of let me be serious, that early 2023, I remember I was like, why am I still keeping this playlist? To the point where I would actually go out with friends. I would go clubbing, but I would not drink. Like I've never drunk, I've never smoked. I just enjoyed the energy that was there. So I would go there, and then when I was like, okay, this part I'll cut off. So I started off with cutting off the part of the going out. Then the music came on. Now I would tell people about the playlist, and like people would actually go forward and like download the playlist, and they'd be waiting for like, have you added anything? Have you added anything? And then when it suddenly disappeared, I remember people reached out to me and they're like, what happened to the playlist? You no longer see it. I was like, how can I call myself born again? Or how can I say I want to know Christ and still have this playlist, even if I don't listen to it? Because I'd stopped listening to music. I stopped listening to secular music. But I still had the playlist. I was like, what point does it? I mean, I can't be saying I want to be closer with Christ and people are still consuming something that is taking them away from Christ, that is leading to the separation. So that for me was it. But then also life after it, I got to understand how not so simple this journey is, but in its being not so simple, it is also simple. It is not simple when you feel like it is on to you. It is you who has to work towards getting yourself saved. It is you who has to continuously, like, the success of your salvation is dependent on your works. But then the Bible verse that reminds us that we are saved by grace, and there's another verse that talks about our works are like filthy rags before Him. So clearly there is nothing I can do that will ensure me making it to the pearly gates. Yeah.
Thank for that. For me, I'd say what I struggled with most during the early days was movies. And people can say that any movies they're just neutral, like there's nothing that they do. But like looking back in my life, like movies had a great influence on the way I lived my life. Because which verse says, there's a verse that says like, whatever, I'm paraphrasing, like whatever you behold, you become. So you see, so if you're watching movies with explicit content, foul language,
it will
start
to really live in your head.
So when you consume that, that's how you live your life. And after getting saved, I realized that, okay, I was trying to convince myself that the content isn't bad, then it's good, and I had that conviction that it's not good, because now I have to read the word, I have to listen to sermons so that I can live a godly life, because they usually say garbage in, garbage out. So now I have to transfer what the garbage I had in my mind and in my heart with now Bible verses, godly things, so that my life can be godly. Yeah.
I think maybe an add-on for me, it was the aspect of being condemned, because when you got born again, you don't stop the things that you are doing immediately. It's progressive. It takes time. So you'll find maybe after 2 days I backslide to where I was. So there's the aspect of condemnation, because it makes me feel, because of what I did, now God doesn't love me. And so it's something that I've come to grow and to learn, that even if I was to fall today, God forbid, if I'm supposed to spend time with God at 10, I'll make sure at 10 I'm there, whether I fail, whatever happened. And it took me to the Bible verse that says a man can fall 7 times, but every time he falls, it's up to him to be able to rise back up, because condemnation is a weapon that the enemy uses in a big way, because not unless you're Paul, you encounter Jesus direct. You can't get saved today and tomorrow you've stopped all the things you are doing. It takes time.
Yeah, that's true. And I think many people usually give up because of that point. And it's you go to a church, there's a powerful service, then you want to get saved. Then after you get saved, the following day you're back where you were the previous day. So you feel, this thing is so hard and I can't do this. But vile tu umesema, yani you shouldn't be condemned, but you should live a surrendered life. Because I don't think we are still where we are because of our works, the way you say it. And there is a help that came through surrender. Yeah, that's what I wanted to add.
But I also, maybe to add to what Omoti said, I think the aspect of surrendering sounds simple, but that's a whole mountain on its own. And so maybe because I'm sure there are people who are watching and maybe they've been saying, I've tried to surrender, but the aspect of getting to a point of surrender is not on your own strength, because if it was easy, that means I would have left everything I was doing long ago. So I think it gets to a place of brokenness where you just tell Jesus that you have to take it over, because even the strength to be able to surrender, it's a struggle on its own. It's a mountain on its own that needs to be conquered.
I'm reminded of the verse, that story of the Israelites. I think it was with the Israelites when they were trying to go into the promised land, and God had told them, "Go, I have won it for you." It might have been Israelites, might not, but like I just remember, like God had told some people, "Go ahead, I have the victory is there. Like no one is going to fight you," and these people still went and said, "I am not going without you." Like, I know you've said I've won, but I'm not going to walk without you. I want to hold you by the hand, and I want you to hold me by my hand and walk with me and move with me. Then that ends up showing us why Jesus ended up telling us that I've gone, but I'll send the Holy Spirit is going to come to help you, to walk with you, to so that you do not feel the loneliness that surely comes when you give your life to Christ. Because in those early stages, as Nikita was sharing, when you have Nikita was Tatiana, when you have people who they are not really on that side of life with you, it might be hard to connect with them. So you might end up still feeling alone. But now when you have the Holy Spirit who's there with you, your ever-present help, then certain things, but it as you've said, it does take time. But it is until you allow that there is an insufficiency that you as a person that you have, and the sufficiency coming from God. That is the only way to work out.
I think the aspect you're saying is, I can maybe add, is the aspect of being broken. Because I think there's a place in the Bible, it should be in Psalms, it says that a broken heart and a contrite spirit he does not despise. So until we show that we can't, we are completely down on our own strength, we can't do anything, I think that's when he shows up. Because the moment we try to do things, it's like we're showing sort of competition with him, of which it can't really work.